Friday night, floodlights on, Yorkshire Derby, tick, tick, tick. Here we go. For Leeds United against Sheffield United, just 3 points separating the teams in the league, and a big match in store tonight here in Beeston. Elland Road, we are ready to go. I'm Rich Williams. Joining me tonight is former Leeds United player Michael Bridges.
Good to see you, Rich. Good. Hey, nice top as well, by the way.
All right, so let's get it out of the way first. We're wearing the same top. It was accidental. Or was it? No, it really was, and we should communicate beforehand. Now we've got that
out the way.
Awkwardness out the way. Tonight's match is available in selected territories. Of course, head to the LUTV website to get your match day pass. Right, Bridgie, on to the important stuff here, which is tonight's game. Yeah. It's always spicy. It's Friday night, the start of the weekend, and you can just feel it in and around the stadium. Walking in tonight, seeing the fans flowing in, that this is a big one. You
can tell by the traffic coming as well, by the way. It is horrendous out there. The fans, like you say, they're gathering the floodlights. You can see Elland Road lit up. There's no better sight than seeing a floodlit Elland Road, and then obviously when it's full, the fans are there, the full voice. They're the nights that I remember, the European nights, the midweek games. I love Friday night matches, and I'm really looking forward to this one because obviously Sheffield United are in town. It's a big one. It's a team that I used to hate playing against for so many reasons, but in a good way, if you know what I mean. It always got you up for it, whether it was with Leeds United or other clubs that had been at. It was always you knew you were always in for a good game, and obviously two teams that are in very, very good form. Both, I would say, both promotion favourites, and got to be in the top six, these two, for obviously challenge for the title. This is why it's so huge tonight for Elland Road.
Yeah, Sheffield United come here, worth saying, unbeaten so far in the league. Leeds are 4 unbeaten and going pretty well. Also, it's funny, isn't it? There are some teams, you mentioned about playing against Sheffield United, there are some teams where before the game, we've got 27 minutes till kick-off, there's going to be incident in this game tonight, because it's one of those games where there's always going to be talking points. You just know something is going to happen tonight.
Whether there's flashpoints on the field or off the field, there's something in store for us. Well, I think it's going to be such an intriguing game because Leeds United this season, I've been super impressed with some of the performances have been standout, and obviously the Sunderland performance in our last game. Apart from that last mistake from the goalkeeper, Melier, who'll be, he'll be looking to rectify that and redeem himself tonight. Apart from that, the game was absolutely brilliant because Sunderland was a team that really hurt us last season. It was the 2 games where we were nullified in all areas. This is a similar thing. Sheffield United, the clean sheets that they've had this season under Wilder is superb. Now, our firepower, it's the biggest challenge this season for us, and I'm sure we're going to be up for it. Because I was at the training ground on Wednesday, I was watching the lads going through the session. Daniel Farke had everybody switched on. There was national duties can disturb you. They looked like they were firing it, and it's a big test tonight against a team who defensively are outstanding. Yeah,
we'll hear from Daniel Farke before kick-off today. That's coming up for you shortly. Worth saying about the international break, obviously the players that came back either earlier or remained within the camp, they're there to train. There are players that have come back late. I'm thinking Altanaka, I'm thinking Brendan Aronson as well. That's tricky, isn't it, to get them to the same place where the other players are? How do you manage that as a squad?
Well, I think what they're doing, no doubt the lads go in at national duty, the staff still analyse and monitor. They'll be asking for training schedules, what they've been doing over there with their national teams. They'll be finding out where the fatigue levels are at, and I saw the lads on Wednesday, the ones that hadn't been involved were doing a bit of a top-up session. They were going through a real intense session, and like you see, the other ones that had played the games were a little bit more monitored, going through the ice bath routine, so it's all planned and it's all geared up to tonight. That's why sports science has taken over the game, because you've got to make sure that everybody is at their highest level, and it's great to see Dan James. He's just gone past the camera there. I'm delighted. I had a chat with him during the week. He's up for it. He's ready to go.
Yeah, you see the players coming in there as they did earlier on, of course, and Elland Melier there coming in towards the back of the squad. It's interesting, isn't it? When you look at the team, it's worth saying if you haven't seen it yet, it is the same starting 11 as the previous team. That means Joel Piroe, who we'll hear from shortly, there we go, will start up front. Yeah. And quite key as well is when you look at the bench now, you've seen Dan James there, Manor Solomon as well, also back in action. That really strengthened things.
Well, for Daniel Farke not to put Solomon back in after what I witnessed at the training ground during the week, I don't know how he's not playing, but obviously it shows I think you've got to take it from that last performance when the team were together against Sunderland. It looks strong, and I'm a big fan of Joel Piroe. I've said it numerous times. He is the best finisher, goal scorer that we have at this football club, because he has the ability to score from all different types of goals. whether it's with his head, whether it's through one-on-ones, he just knows how to do it. And it's such an art that is going out of the game. We get some fantastic strikers, but he has I call it, he's just got everything in his locker.
Well, you've led us into it absolutely beautifully there, Bridge. I didn't know if you were intending to do that, but it's absolutely sensational because we can hear from Joel Piroe. 4 goals so far this season, a goal against Sunderland as well. And let's hear his thoughts ahead of tonight's huge Yorkshire derby.
Well, Joel, it's been a long 2 weeks, I'm guessing, waiting for the next game, hasn't it?
Yes, definitely. It's been a long 2 weeks, but we're ready for it.
What's it been like on the training ground? Because you've had lots of players away, obviously, on international duty.
Yes, it's always a bit special when the players are gone, but we all know that, and I think it's a good time to work, especially on ourselves.
You've had to dwell on that result in the last game, which was nearly a win and then wasn't a win. Has everyone got that one out of the system and you're looking forward to this one now?
Yes, definitely, but I think it will be completely out of the system after this game, but no, we moved on from that game and we're looking forward to it now.
It's a big game. You know, they've got the chance to go top. Potentially Leeds could go top tonight. These are two of the sides who've started the season well, aren't they, meeting in this game tonight?
Yes, definitely, and I think will be a good battle and probably the two favourite sides.
We'll see. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thoughts there of Joel Piroe, and Brim mentioned, of course, coming off the back of that Sunderland result, which was a really positive performance that, of course, ended in a draw rather than a win at the end of it. How did they come off the back of that in terms of preparation, in terms of probably, I guess, getting back on that coach with a bit of a rather than a kind of celebration? I thought it was a really good performance away from home. Well, following up the Norwich draw as well.
I was watching that game in Portugal, and I literally turned around, went to the toilet, came back and saw the incident. Was like, what? So, you've got to get over it quickly. I think the international break came at a good time for Meslier and for the team because, like I say, that was just a killer blow the way it happened. And to think that it was such a good away performance, that should have been 3 points. These things happen. I mean, freak instance. It's how the lads react. Now, Meslier, professional that he is, it would have hurt him a hell of a lot. There's no doubt about it. But it's how you mentor, how you talk, you get over it, and you've got to come in with the right frame of mind. So he's gone away international. He's come back. Daniel Farke and the staff will have had a chat with him and said, listen, redeem yourself. It's a long season. It's not just about that one moment in the season. And everybody would have got together and supported him. Yeah,
and in terms of that Sunderland game away from home, of course, Friday night as well. Yeah. From a midfield point of view, we know the injuries that are there with Ethan and with Ilya as well. They're going to be out for a considerable period of time now. And there you had, Rothwell and Tanaka coming in and doing a really grand job.
Yeah, very good job. And I always say, when I'll judge a squad and how you can keep the integrity of the squad, the characters that are going to be here for a team. And I mean like team players. So you've mentioned there Rothwell and Tanaka. You haven't played most of the season. You've been playing second fiddle. What's your attitude going to be like off the field to make sure that when your chance comes that you're going to be ready? That game against Sunderland just showed you that they are team players, they're professional athletes, and they were ready for their moment and they get the opportunity once again. Now nobody wants to see injuries because Ethan Ampadu, they say captain, leader, he's inspirational on off field, grew over the distance he covers. Two very different players that we have in this midfield, but two very comfortable players at this level that we have seen are able to handle the big situations. So again, they get another opportunity tonight and another good challenge, and they'll be up for it.
It's interesting what you say there about preparation, because we think about preparation of the team, but also, and there you can see, Joe, but you think about preparation, but for those players who aren't starting, to keep themselves ready for that moment when it comes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it was funny going round. I had a chat with Ethan Ampadu at the training ground. I was looking to sit down next to Lucas Radebe. We were doing an interview, and we just had to give a 10-minute break just because to let Ethan Ampadu go through his routine. He's off the field, he's injured, but you've got the rehab. They want to get back as quick as possible from the injuries. Like you say, the players in the outer, you've got to make sure that you are still, because the lads that are playing regular, their levels keep going up. So you've got to try and make sure you don't fall behind, because it's so easy to do. I had a really nasty time with injuries, and I found it so hard to get back to that normality in the regular sessions. And then when you get back to that, then you've got to find you're this far away from the game level. So, like I say, Rothwell and Tanaka had nothing but the utmost respect for them in the way they've handled themselves in this situation.
Okay, you mentioned the players you've been speaking to down at the training ground today and during this week, and also someone who was there, who is the special guest tonight here at Elland Road. We are talking about your former captain and one of the real greats of Leeds United, Lucas Radebe. He's in town. He'll be out at half-time, parading around the pitch and saying hello to the fans, of course. One of the greats for our club, and Brynlaw's been down in the tunnel to catch up with Lucas ahead of tonight's match.
Well, Lucas, brilliant to have you back here at Elland Road. How does it feel to be back again?
Exciting. I mean, I was looking forward to this trip all along, and it's been absolutely amazing. And I know the atmosphere here, and every time, I come here, it feels absolutely comfortable that I'm at home now. And I think the respect, I get, from everybody here, it's absolutely amazing. Doesn't matter how long I've been away from this place, but it seems like, I've been around for a long time.
Yeah, some things never change, and you haven't changed much, I've got to say, from when I first knew you.
But a few greys.
A little bit, we're doing pretty well there, but the atmosphere at Elland Road remains a constant. That's the same, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, for me, what I've observed is that even if there's no fans in the stadium, but atmosphere, but when the fans are in there and the club is doing well, man, it's a different class, and the culture of the fans, the passion and the love of Leeds United, it's really embedded down into their hearts, which is absolutely amazing.
They still sing your name at games. You know that, of course you know that. So you must have left some good memories here.
I must have done something right, Bryn, But to be honest, it's an honor, to have played for a club that value, ex-players, not just me, but other players as well, and appreciate the contribution on and off the field of play, which I think for me, this is the club that is put value, and that actually, that you become not just a footballer, but you become part and parcel of it, which is something different, and it's unique. When it comes to Leeds.
I know you've been watching the games this season, so what do you think? What do you think of what you're seeing?
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of potential. Yes, after the last season's disappointment, and it's great to see that, we've lost a couple of players, which I think is good, but I think it balanced the team very well. Great manager, great squad, and I think the boys are poised now, to realize how important it is to get this club, to the Premier League, and I think this will be the season to do that.
Looking forward to a big one tonight?
Oh, yeah, the derby. Yorkshire derby is never the same, you know what I mean? You got to be here to experience it and enjoy it. I mean, it doesn't come bigger than that. And I'm looking forward to it. And surely they will lift this place up and hopefully, Bren, let's get the result tonight.
I'm with you on that one. Lucas, lovely to have you back here. Lovely to see you again. That smile is still the same.
Thank you very much, Bren. Great to be here. And, what a fantastic club this is, and it's these great memories that are here embedded in that field. They come back all the time I'm here. But thank you very much, for having me back here again.
Well, Bryn mentioned that famous smile. Yeah. Think about when you see Lucas Radebe and you see him smile. It makes you smile. Everyone watching, I'm sure at the moment, has got the same smile on their face.
Do you know how uplifting he is? I came down on Wednesday. I hadn't seen Lucas in ages, and it was lovely to come and catch up with him. And straight away, as soon as you meet him and greet him, he made my day. He fulfilled it, and he's made me happy for the last 3 days. And seeing him once again there, absolutely brilliant. He's a class act on and off the field. He was an inspirational leader. And what I loved, me and Chief here, we were just laughing because I've still got stud marks in the back of my legs. I call them the Chief tattoos, because he would do the same in training as he played the game. And I remember the first time he tackled me in training, and I said to him, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Don't you say what am I doing." He said, "I train how I play." And he said, "And you better get used to it." And my game went a whole new level because of playing against defenders like Lucas and Jonathan Woodgate.
Well, that's what I want to ask you about. By the way, all this smiling, is this before he didn't pick you for his five-a-side Leeds United team?
Oh, no, we fell out after that because he didn't put us in. He put Viduka in, yes.
The thing I wanted to ask you really about Lucas, and you mentioned it there about the training, obviously in terms of the captaincy and a captain's role, but also wider than just a captain's role. It's that role of leadership within a team, isn't it? Yeah. Talk to us about that. Tell us what it's like to have a player like that who leads by example?
Well, he was obviously he was an experienced player there. There was only David Batty, Nigel Martin and Lucas, who we had a very young team. They were the senior players. Lucas wore the armband with pride. He's a club legend. To think that somebody had to change a country to come and embrace England and then Yorkshire and to be accepted, and you think the cultural changes he had to make, the sacrifices to get to where he wanted to be, and then he embraced it and he's become obviously part of the furniture at Leeds United with the armband. But what I found out is that moment, you know, it's side before self as the original, that's the mantra of this football club. Lucas abide by that. And he would always say, we train boys how we play, because if we train slack and we don't tackle each other and we're nice to each other on a game day, it's not the same. So I learned so much off this man. I said to him the other day, I think I embarrassed him, I said, you're the most inspirational and best captain I have ever had in my career. And I've had a lot of clubs. So it just says how much of a guy this Lucas is.
I love it. And just quickly, because you were mentioning to me a bit before we came on air, he was chatting with Ethan down there, who of course is the club captain, Pascal, who wears the captain's armband in Ethan's absence at the moment through injury. You know, him being here tonight, you can feel it outside, it's lifted everyone, but actually for the team, this is the important bit, for the squad, how much of a lift does it give? It
was massive, and to see him passing on his knowledge, mentoring Ethan, it was lovely to see them embrace. He had a chat with Ethan, gutted that he's injured, obviously. Ethan was asking him for a bit of advice on that, and there's a camaraderie. So I see Ethan as the captain of this football club. Probably the first name on the team sheet, that's what you pick him for. Then we have club captains, and obviously it was Liam Cooper before he'd gone away. Pascal's been here a long, long time, so it's not like the boys are uncommon that the armband's gone to somebody else. You know the pecking order in football clubs. Lucas was the all-round package, you know, he had everything on and off the field as a leader. And I think what we have in this football club at this moment, we've got a few leaders that share it around rather than one outright man that you see as a Lucas Radebe.
We could talk about this all night. I wish we could talk about this all night, but we are 12 and a half minutes away from kickoff, so we will move on. But yeah, fantastic to see those pictures, Bridget. Obviously had a great time down there, and the chief half-time will be heading round outside the pitch here at Elland Road. Okay, let's get the thoughts from within the squad, and a player who joined Leeds in the summer and will be playing against his former team as he comes face to face with the Blades this evening. We are talking about Leeds United right back, Jaden Bogle.
If I'd have said to you at the start of your time here a couple of months ago, you know, you'd be part of a group that's unbeaten in the last four, you know, in a good position in the table, you'd have been really, really pleased. You know, how would you assess, now we're in the second international break, how would you assess that first few months?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. As I've said before, it's a fantastic club. The mentality of the club and everyone around it and the direction they want to go in is fantastic. And the standards that everyone sets themselves individually and as a whole as well is something to be proud of.
Injuries are part and parcel of the game, but there's been a couple of first team, you know, members of the squad that have been out. It's allowed others opportunities that they've taken. How have you found how the group has stepped up? You know, different people playing across midfield, defence, up front, and that collective effort.
Yeah, I think it's important to have that, whether people are starting or coming off the bench or getting opportunities through injuries, whatever it may be. I think everyone's ready, and again, that's the mentality and the standards that everyone sets themselves. And yeah, I think everyone that's came in has stepped up, and it's important to keep doing that.
There's a big couple of games coming up, you know, against teams that are right up there in the table. How excited are you as a player or what are your emotions going into this, you know, the next couple of games?
Yeah, I'd say excited. That excitement to get back into the games. As I said before, it's obviously nice to get a bit of a rest and a break in international breaks, but sometimes you feel like they go on for a bit too long. So yeah, I feel like everyone's ready to get back into the games and get going again.
Obviously, with it being a derby as well, there's extra emotions involved. You more than anybody know what to expect from Sheffield United and Chris Wilder's side. What is it that you think the fans should expect from them as an away team coming to Elland Road?
Yeah, of course it'll be tough. Just like when any team comes to Elland Road, they try and make it tough and difficult for us. But I think the main thing for us is to focus on ourselves and apply ourselves in the right way. Work hard over the next few days in training and then approach the game in the right way.
The game, of course, you know, under the lights at Elland Road will be a special occasion. It promises to be a fiery one, but also quite a poignant one as well, emotional one. And you know, thoughts with yourself, Jaden. Unfortunately, the sad passing of George Baldock recently. I understand you were, you know, pretty close to him, and it's a chance, I guess, for football to be put to one side for a little bit to pay the respect. You know, both clubs will pay respects pre-kick-off, and it hopefully will do him justice for, you know, for what was a fantastic career. And he sounds like a fantastic gentleman as well.
Like, I think it's just stunned everybody with what went on. So yeah, I think before the game, to to think about the good times everyone had with him. He was an amazing person, fantastic player as well, and the way he helped people, new players coming into the club, just the type of person he was really welcoming, and yeah, just a fantastic guy, a fantastic player, and it's just devastating news for his family, who I send my dearest condolences to.
Yeah, and as Jaden referenced there, of course, there will be a moment's silence before the game after the passing of George Baldock, age 31. Really tragic news, a key figure in 2 promotions to the Premier League for Sheffield United. It's one of those things, isn't it, that we're talking about the build-up and the game tonight, and then you hear that and you think about it, and there's perspective, isn't there?
Oh, of course there is. Like you say, nobody wants to read headlines like that, especially players that have been involved with him, played with him, and obviously know what he was like as a personal family man, and like I say, I can just reiterate and say we condolence everybody and his family and friends, because it's tragic news, and obviously the respects are going to be paid in the right way that they should be. Yeah,
absolutely. We are just under 10 minutes away from kick-off tonight. Jaden Bogle, of course, playing against his former club. He'll know a lot of those players that are there tonight. Does that help give a little bit of information there to Daniel Farke about playing for Chris Wilder and all that kind of stuff, or how does that kind of thing work with a former team?
I don't think we're going to see the overlapping fullbacks like we used to see with Wilder when they saw him in the Premier League, which caught everybody off guard, but I'm sure there's an insight there. I mean, staff there analyse, they know how Wilder plays, but obviously there's no better feeling. I used to love, I signed for this football club, and the first fixture that I looked for was Sunderland. When are we playing Sunderland against my old club, my former club? Because I'm not saying you up your game for them, but there's just something it's a natural thing that is inside you that you want to go out there and perform, and more so than not, you tend to find you score against your old clubs. I'm not saying Bogle's going to get one because he's a right back, but I'd love to see him get one tonight against his former club. But it's just something that makes you up for it. So a little bit of insight. No doubt they might have a few colleagues there that give the boss, our boss, their team news a little bit earlier if he's used his insight.
Yeah, I mean, you played a few years ago now, Bridgie. I think it's fair to play. But
thanks, mate.
Presumably there's some point where you just get removed from the WhatsApp group for your old team, isn't there? I mean, there must be this kind of weird transition.
Do you know what was funny? We had Stuart Dallas in here. He came on I can't think what game it was. He came in the LUTV studio. Fantastic to have him involved. And he gave a great insight, but I said, what are you missing from your football? And he went, do you know what hurt is? He said, when you get deleted and you get removed from them WhatsApp groups. I never had that experience, obviously. WhatsApp came around after I'd retired. He was a broken man after he realised. And it's a tough thing to recognise.
Did everyone unfriend you on Bebo?
Yes.
On MySpace. There you go, one for the kids. Right, okay, let's hear from the Leeds United manager, Daniel Farke, getting his thoughts ahead of tonight's game. And as we were mentioning, there will be that moment of silence before the game, something that Daniel has been reflecting on.
Yes, it's always difficult when you have experienced such a tragedy, and I've also came up in several games against George, and you hear such news. It's difficult to speak about football because in this moment our thoughts are just there with him and his family, and we're also suffering a bit, and even a few players of our squad have played against him and also with him. So it was unbelievable sad news, and was not easy also the first days, also like to get on with it, because when you hear about such a tragedy, so you're lost there of words, and then football is also not important in this moment anymore. And I think it's also important to show this, and I also hope that we will play also this game, and when there is something in order to give a tribute to this, that you do this in the most respectful way, because the life of a human being is always more important than any point, and for that, that's quite important. Yeah, it's a bit difficult to speak then about football again, but yeah, you have to get on with it, and it's also death is also part of life, and you have to get on with it. It's also in the sense of this player and his family that life goes further on, and I know it's always a bit a special atmosphere, and yeah, it has to be also a bit discussions and rivalry. It has to be. It's also part of why we love this game so much, especially when there is a local game. Then there has to be also a bit competitive atmosphere, and this is also what we all want. As long as everything is there in a respectful way, then it's also totally okay. But yeah, it's also a bit lots of talking. This has to be. So I would prefer to play this game perhaps with a normal week, and then when there's a bit more spotlight on it and both teams can prepare in the best possible way, because it's a bit tricky after an international game without training. But again, I expect a really good atmosphere against one of the best teams in this league, with a very experienced manager also. And I expect a difficult game. So in the last games, no team was able to score against them. No team was actually able to create a chance against them. It will be tricky to break them down, especially without training, to find some good solutions. But this is what we have to do, and we have to be fully aware of their strengths, especially in their offense and their counter-attacks. They have players who can score goals. Yes, we need a pretty complex performance, like I mentioned already several times, against such a good side, and we have to be at our best Friday evening.
There you go. And those words, be at our best, really like kind of ring in my ears. I'm sure it'll be ringing in the players' ears right now as they get ready to come out of the tunnel. Sheffield United, 6 clean sheets in a row. They're unbeaten so far this season. Is this the toughest test for us so far?
We've got to be at our best in all areas. Defensively, absolutely spot on. Chances created. You're not going to get many chances against Sheffield United. We've got to be clinical. I think that's what Daniel was working on during it. Was a lot of, we saw a lot of, I was watching them doing the possession games, breaking through and then getting a finish away. The one area that worries me, they've got a huge height. Kiefer Moore, Harry Suter. They've got a lot of tall timber in there, and the set plays again is a key area where every player has got to know their duty. If you can't beat them aerially, or what you're going to do when you're man marking to put them off. So there's a lot of things that are being planted in the seeds of the Leeds players to say, listen, it's Elland Road, we don't get bullied here, let's go and give them a run for their money.
All right, let's get a quick team prediction as the teams start to make their way out.
I met a young lad in the car park tonight. I was going to go with 3-1 to Leeds United. I met a young lad in the car park tonight with his father, little Leo. He said he promised me it was going to be a 2-1 win for Leeds, and I promised him I would give him a shout out. So there you go, 2-1 Leeds. 2-1 or 3-1. He's backed his chances on 2 there. You see what he's done. Okay, enjoy the match. Let's head over to the gantry then. Our commentary team for you here on LUTV are Bryn Law and Tony Dorigo.
Thanks, guys. Well, the build-up is pretty much complete. It's been comprehensive. Lovely to hear from a legend that is Lucas Radebe. Lovely to see him again. That big smile brightens up any evening. And now we're almost ready for the business of returning to championship action. Need to have a